Now, this was a pretty good find for vintage radios this weekend. Yesterday I picked up this RCA Victor Model 6T2 tombstone radio from 1936 that looks in very restorable condition. This set will receive the AM and broadcast band. Cabinet looks pretty decent. Only veneer damage I see is a few minor chips along the bottom and a strip missing off the side down there. But it could be a lot worse. And the chassis looks to be complete and unmolested, at least looking at it from the top side. And has the original cloth power cord on it, which I will likely replace with a reproduction cloth cord just for safety. And here's the other radio I picked up, a Crosley from around 32, 33 I'd say. This is a novelty radio that's made to look like a set of books when closed, but when opened reveals a radio. Cabinet has some minor cosmetic problems that need to be dealt with, but I think we can make it look decent again. And here's the back of the radio. As you can see, someone has replaced the original electrodynamic speaker with a permanent magnet speaker, and they mounted the output transformer to the bottom of the cabinet. And you can also tell that something's been nesting inside this radio at some point. I'd like to find an original type speaker, which probably won't be too big of a deal because I think Crosley used this same chassis in several radios. I think this is a model 148. But yeah, I don't find radios like this too much in my area. Most of what I find is stuff from the 40s and newer. So it's rare when sets like this show up, and when they do show up around here, the people selling them usually want an arm and a leg for them, but I was able to get these at a decent price, not giveaway, but a price I could live with. Yeah, just for fun, let's pull the chassis out of this RCA and see what the underside looks like. We don't have time to work on these right now, but that'll come later. Looks like we still have all four of our original chassis mounting bolts on the RCA, which is a good sign. Seems like when these sets get worked on, at least one of the chassis mounting bolts ends up disappearing. Here's the underside of the chassis. Doesn't look too hacked up. I notice this capacitor looks like a replacement, and possibly this capacitor. But pretty much everything else, as far as I can tell, is original. And I can tell some of the tubes have been replaced, but all in all, this looks like a very restorable radio. Hopefully won't be too much out of the way wrong with it. And this receives the standard AM broadcast band and 2 shortwave bands, so should be a decent radio once it's fixed up. And now I guess we will have a look under the chassis on this one and see if the dead mouse is still in here. We definitely need to clean all this nesting material out. And here's the underside of the chassis. Fortunately, nothing dead or alive left in it, just the remains of where something lived in it at one time. And all these wires leading up to the transformer and filter choke and speaker that somebody installed in here. I'm just going to cut these because these wires are in bad shape anyway, and I'm going to replace them, so I might as well go ahead and cut them, and that'll make it easier to clean the inside of this cabinet out. And here's the speaker, an output transformer and choke removed that someone installed. As you can see, it looks like the mice or whatever have been chewing on this speaker. The output transformer looks to be original, so that'll come in handy should I find a speaker with no output transformer, and this choke was obviously a replacement to substitute for the original speaker field coil. And there's all the nesting material All in a neat little... And here we are, temporarily put back together with the hacked-in speaker removed, of course. If I can't find an original Crosley speaker for this, I'll have no choice but to go with a modern permanent magnet speaker. But if I could find an original speaker, that would be a lot better, even if I have to have it reconed. Okay, thanks for watching, and more to come later.